We're
got it. This is where you take 4 kids, 3 animals, 2 careers, 1 boat with a whole lot of reality. Welcome to Cruising Resurgence.
September we met. I could tell by your smile. You hadn't been with a good girl like me in a while. Yeah, you were impressed. Couldn't leave me alone. Text me every time that you pick up the phone. And I had control in the driver's seat, but my hands are slipping off the wheel. Now the tables have turned. Now I'm up all night. I'm picturing you acting like a fool. I'm on the other side. You're like a full moon, and I'm up all night, howling at you. Tables have turned. Tables have turned. Tables have turned. Tables have turned.
Hi guys, today we are going to take a look at Resurgence. We're going to take a look inside and we're going to take a look outside. Darren in a few minutes is going to take you on a tour of the top side and show you all of the list that we need to fix on her, and it is extensive. So I'm going to take you down and I'm going to show you the inside, and now keep in mind we've already done a lot of work inside. Well, I won't say a lot, but we've started working on the inside, so it's a wreck. So we're going to take you down and we're going to show you what we plan to do and what we currently have done. But before we go down, let me show you something. These are our doors, and they're pretty bad. So this is on the list to be fixed as well. They're really weathered, and we're thinking about going with a whole different plan of how to do a different door. And we have a hurricane coming, so I am supporting Florida Strong for a hurricane that's coming. So this is definitely one of the things that we're gonna have to fix today. Not quite sure how we're gonna go about doing that, but we've got a gap that's right here that's pretty significant. So we're gonna have to work on fixing that today because the storm's supposed to be here on Tuesday. So that definitely has to be done. All right, so the stairs are gone. They're at the house. We're restaining them. They're teak, so we're redoing all the oils and everything on them. So we have to get down kind of cleverly. All right, so make sure that's back. Okay, so Darren is going to be doing all the rewiring in the boat. It's loose and it's everywhere, and there are holes all in the boat because there were speakers, and I believe that they had the depth finder and other system here. The actual system is really, really old. So that is one of the things that definitely has to be replaced. Okay, so it is like Florida hot. It is still the end of August and we are sweating, and there is no air on this boat. Okay, so let's flip around and take a look, because this is what I was telling you about earlier. So we still have the West Marine speakers in there, and we're probably going to replace all of the panel area and put all of our new electronics in there. And we have pulled out all of the carpeting on the sides. We're actually going to put headliner all through the sides on both sides. And then we're pulling out, we have cushions that are being made for us currently. So we're picking those up the beginning of September. And then you will also notice, let's start up here, the lovely kitchen. Here's the problem with the kitchen. The cabinet is not in great shape. So I believe we're going to pull the cabinet out. It's got a freezer that's kind of scary. Pretty sure something probably lived in there. So that's gotta go, and we're gonna refigure that out. The sink has been pulled out because we're gonna replace that. Let me flip on the other side. We have an alcohol stove. We've actually taken that out because it looked equally scary, so we're going to be replacing that as well. As you can tell, we've got a lot of junk sitting around. This is for our solar panels. That's getting replaced. And Darren's going to tell you a little bit more about the electronics here in a second. But we still have plenty of storage. And yeah, we got plenty of storage on both sides. So like I said, the headliner is going to be placed in, and then we've got the new cushions that are coming in. We're going to be scrubbing. Like today, we've got the storm coming, so we're going to be scrubbing everything down and trying to get some cleaning done before the storm, and then batten down the hatches. So let's turn around and take a look at the back of the boat. Okay, so all this was originally wood, just regular wood, but it looked really, really, really distressed. It did not look good. So we decided that we would go ahead and paint it. I've got a sealant that I've got to do over the top of it, but then this is going to match the outside of the boat once we repaint the boat. Okay, so you see our head is here. And this is part of the wiring that we were talking about that's so much fun that has to be replaced. Okay, so this boat actually does not have a sink. So we're actually going to be putting in a sink in this area, doing some tile work to make it look better. Not real tile because it won't flex, but we have another idea in place. We're repainting all of the fiberglass and getting it looking better, putting our doors back up. Our head is actually going to be here. And like I said, all this is going to be redone. And let me take you back here. This is our bunk area. So as you can tell, it is a mess. So we're going to, Darren's going to redo the windows, and we're going to paint all the fiberglass and put the headliner up and put the woodwork back in. We have our under bunk storage. So yeah, and we're going to be fixing this so we can actually, you know, survive. Okay guys, so that's pretty much the inside of the boat. And I'm gonna let Darren kind of tell you kind of some of his plans for this, because I would love to just rip it out, but he's like, no, I can't do that yet. So.
All right guys, and as you can see, and as Kelly has mentioned, it is very hot, kind of getting sticky back here. A whole lot to do with the wiring. There's wiring from the front to the back, up at the front where the lights are at for the for my port side and starboard side lights. They're not even burning. I'm not quite sure if it's because of wiring breakdown. I do know on one side that the bulb is completely gone with corrosion with the casing and all. But wiring all over the boat, I'm not sure what they were doing here, but the wiring is literally loose. And like Kelly mentioned, you know, to make it pretty, she would like for it to be just yanked out, so there's not there anymore. It's not being ugly.
It's bad.
But for anyone that's done any kind of wiring before, I first of all need to know where everything is coming from and where it's going to. If I just yank it out of here and have loose wiring, I don't know what's what, and that will cause a whole lot of problems. So I'll trace everything, find out where it's going. Some of it we may be able to use, but we're definitely going to have to make some changes. I can tell by looking at this that some of it's going to have to definitely be replaced. But it'll take a little bit of time, but we'll get it done. And I'm not quite sure. I said this is the antenna that's actually coming from the VHF radio in the back. I'm telling you, looking at it, it's like a jigsaw puzzle. I'm not quite sure how they've got it. It's coming from the back. Looks like it's going underneath, maybe underneath the hole there, coming out on this side, going up, and I guess going up to the mast and going up to the top of the mast. Why they switch sides of the boat, I don't know, because it can easily run, you know, right along under the cushions and under the seating right there. We don't have much of a plumbing problem to work with. Mainly the plumbing, I think, is just because stuff's come undone over time. May have to replace some of it. I know that while the bottom job was being done, I had smartly left the hatch open, so we had a lot of water in here. So right now I'm trying to distinguish between the residual water that's left over from the downpour of the storms that we had during the 2.5 weeks that I had it in for the bottom job, and if we actually have any leaks. As Kelly showed you earlier, the sink in the back, it's taken out right now. I'm trying to clean it out. It had some rust spots and some bad spots on it, so I want to get that cleaned up. But we actually do have the ability, it's a hand pump. For those of you that have ever seen those, it's not an actual electric pump. I think, Kelly, you want me to change it out to an electric pump? Yeah, so we'll have it where it actually have like regular running water without having to sit and punch that as well. And in the back here, I think Kelly also would like to add a sink back here. We have the porta potty. We'll probably keep that the same because with this boat, it's not going to be the long-term permanent boat, and we'll have a larger boat in the future. This is more of a learner and to have some fun on for a little bit of time. So we'll probably keep the porta potty and empty that when we need it, because we'll be just taking, maybe a weekend, a few days at a time. Won't be taking any long journeys that will exceed the capability. But as Kelly pointed out, it's kind of bad to have a toilet, and no way to wash your hands.
That's really gross.
Yeah. So we're gonna add a sink back here and get a little bit of water going. Interestingly enough, there's no storage as far as water or waste facilities or anything on the boat. Not even a container for water. So probably I'll put that under one of the storage areas and run that up to the sink in the front. I may have a different one back here. I'll have to get behind here and see what's there and how much space I've got. But anything else that I'm leaving out?
Lighting.
Lighting, yeah, that's going to come with the electrical. All this stuff here. I doubt any of that's going to much of the lighting. I think this is going to the front of the boat with the exterior lighting, the running lights, the mast light, all of that. But we have several lights. We have 2 back here as far as lighting up the boat in the night. We're going to change
those. They look really
those.
ugly, like this one.
We're going to change those because right now they have, I'll show you these right here. Like those of you that have been in the camping and boating world for a while, that's the typical bulb. But now that they've got LED, we'll be able to use something that draws a whole lot less amperage, and so I'll be able to get that done and run it longer. I plan on running. Right now, the boat has a deep cycle marine battery. It's got 104, I think, amps on it. I'm going to run 2 batteries in parallel, so that'll give us 208. So I mean, more than sufficient for going out on the weekend and all. The motor in the back that I discussed at Tatsu, it actually charges the battery while it's running as well, so that's helpful. Not that we'll be running the motor a whole lot, but in a pinch we could run it a little bit if we have any kind of problem with the battery. But with the solar panels, they typically have been keeping the one battery charged quite a bit. It'll take a little bit longer once I add the second battery and they're running in parallel. But I don't see, I've seen other people that have they've run the battery and trying to get more voltage out of it instead of amperage. So the main thing for us is we're wanting the amperage so that we can control our devices. We don't have anything that's gonna require.
We're not going to be offshore for very far.
Yeah, we're not going to need 24, 48.
At least not yet.
Yeah, not yet. So we're not going to need that much power. We just need something to make sure that our lights are running at night. The mast light, if we anchor somewhere, it's running and that people know where we're at and they can actually see us. Because just sitting out in the middle of somewhere in the dark with boats coming, probably not a good idea.
Cubby's probably going to want to be able to use his phone.
Yeah, Cubby's going to want to use his phone, so we'll be able to support, the iPad, the cell phones, and charging those, that type of thing. So just enough power to run the significant stuff that we need on a short weekend trip. A lot of them will be day trips, but the weekend trips, as long as we have enough power to take care of those.
We also plan on putting on some ambiance lighting.
Yeah, I think we're thinking about putting, and I don't know if you can show up there where the headliner's going to be up underneath there. We're going to run some ambiance lighting back there where it'll be just kind of like a little glow, and we can actually change the color of it just because we think that might be neat.
Yeah, this is the panel that is going to...
The VHF is going to stay there where you see that opening. That was actually a car stereo that someone had put in there. It wasn't bracketed, it wasn't anything. It was just in there hooked up and hanging. And if you pan down a little bit lower, Kel, if you go down there, you can see all the wiring that's basically...
Yeah.
It's a wreck. All that's got to get straightened up and all. And I'll be honest, I'm afraid to use the shore power right now until I can get up under there and look really closely and see how everything's wired. because I really don't want to start this whole adventure with the boat burning and sinking.
Yeah.
I don't. Looking at the wiring, I see that.
So we have to repair these holes as well because we're redoing that.
Yeah, we'll patch those and fiberglass those in. Let me see if I can.
And this is another area that has to be repaired, and it's on both sides.
The speakers, they're going to come out. We're going to add a different radio. It's not going to be quite like this. The
original panel.
The panel you see here, that's original. This was added. I'm not sure who added that. And interestingly enough, for the mast light to work, I have a switch on here and a switch on there. So I've got to actually take a look and see how that's wired. But we're going to replace that with one panel. And fuses and all to make sure that that looks a little bit nicer than it does right now. And I think that covers a lot of it. And this is nice about being short. Kelly and I are short. I have to bend just a little bit. Kelly can walk through here just fine all throughout the whole boat and stand up.
Not a problem.
And Cubby, he doesn't have a problem either. Now Nick, yeah, he hits his head the moment he walks in here. He has to walk over like
We're going
a
to have to
hunchback.
put like a little sign here that says duck neck.
Yeah, speaking of signs, yeah, it finally went away. You can't see it. Whatever reason, it said Ford there when we first got the boat. And if you look really, really close, you can see it. But right now, it's mostly gone away. So, and as you can tell, our favorite color, blue.
Blue.
Starting at the front, we've actually got a lot from the front to the back. Starting with the bow pulpit. If you can look down here, can you show down there a little bit, Kelly? It's come undone. We're going to have some welding done. And the person that owned this before us, as you can see, it's kind of bent. It shouldn't be like that. So we're going to get that straightened up as well. I've already put a cleat up front. Interestingly enough, this boat did not come with cleats in the front. So tying up, as you can see, I've got tying here and there, and I've got one there. I plan on adding some more cleats because I don't exactly want that going with the tow rail. Any strong pull, might have a problem. But anyway, quite a bit to do. We're going to have to replace the halyards, both the mainsail and the foresail. As you can see, well, you can't really see it yet, but we don't have the head sail up right now. And we have some issues. We're going to have to get some of that repaired, and so that's got to be done as well. The hatch, it's not leaking. It's doing fine when it's closed, but unfortunately, any way of keeping it up other than just putting stress on the hinges, so we're going to get that done, either add some arms or maybe replace the hatch. As you can also see, I need a safe line here. We've taken that down mainly because of one of the stanchions come free. So all the rest of the stanchions, they seem to be secure, so I don't think that there'll be a problem. And moving back a little bit, most of our standing rigging looks to be in good shape, so we'll probably keep that at least for now. If you look back here on our mast, we need to replace the cover, and our sails are actually in pretty decent shape, especially considering these are like the main sails that came with the boat many years ago. The front sail, we're going to need to replace it or have it patched a little bit. This one here, it's dirty, needs a little bit of cleaning. And of course our cover, we need to replace that as well. Our solar panels, we're planning on putting a stern pulpit back in the back eventually, and we'll put those back there as well. Hoping to get some soft panels. I don't really like the hard ones. As you can see, we've already got one of those cracked. The third one that was on the boat, it had to go because whoever owned it before us, they had, I guess, stepped all over because it was pretty broken up. But moving back to the back, Kelly's going to redo some of the teak here, restain that. The porthole, the port lights, they're not in bad shape. They're not leaking, but it's got quite a bit of spidering on it, more than I can really do anything with. So at some point we'll probably replace those as well. And one main reason we can't use the front sail right now is because of the stanchion I mentioned. Since it's off right now, it holds one of the pulleys that we use for that. So I have to get that stanchion fixed and the lifeline and all before I really address that. The boat did not actually come with a motor. If you can see back here, we actually do have a motor now. We have a Tohatsu 9.8. Does pretty good job out on the bay. We've taken it out a few times, and it pushes the thing right along pretty well. Our tiller, it split the other day. It's still functional. You can see here we got some electrical tape kind of because it's split wide open there, just to keep that from being a problem while we were out. So we're probably going to replace this, and I'm hoping to be able to get one that's shorter, because when you're back here and you got people sitting, this is a problem with hitting people on the head. I mean, I can adjust it and raise it up, but it causes a problem and makes it a crowded space even a whole lot tighter than it already is. Our ladder in the back, its latches come free. The ladder's in pretty good shape. Nick and I were able to clean it up, and we're going to keep the ladder, but I'm going to get something where we can raise it and keep it raised up so it's not floating along behind us in the water. Pretty much, I think that may be it for the outside. Well, the we do plan on replacing these. These are pretty bad. I don't know if you saw, Kelly, did you show them the front up there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in pretty bad shape. One of them smashed completely, but we're going to get those replaced as well.
Paint job.
Paint job, yeah, we've got the bottom job, as you can see. Well, you may not be able to see it, it's underwater, but then we'll do the top next. We're going to get the top actually cleaned today, and I'm not sure, depending on how clean it is when we're done, we may be able to just add some what do you call the non-skid, I guess. We may add some of that, but depending on how clean it comes, if it's still pretty filthy, we may end up repainting the whole thing as well. So that'll be a little bit of a job as well.
So what do we plan to do today?
Today, cleaning.
This is the breakfast of cleaning the boat. Cleaning and prepping for the storm day. Lucky us. So Darren is actually starting cleaning. First comes the hose down, then the soap down, then the scrub down. And then I'm going to climb inside and do a little cleaning on the inside. But I'm going to enjoy my strawberries first.
Those are good strawberries.
Aren't they? Gotta love Publix.
Kelly's trying to stay healthy. I had sausage this morning.
As we mentioned before, we're doing the keto diet, so we're like really strict about what we're eating. But and let me tell you what,
biscuit. I had just the sausage.
It works though, because let me tell you, we are dropping some poundage. Of course, doing physical labor like this helps a lot. And yes, we did some research before we decided to pour Dawn on the boat, and it is acceptable to use on cleaning deck surfaces and areas of the boat. And ordinarily we would have waited until after the storm, because I'm sure everybody's like, why are they cleaning the boat before the storm? But there was so much mud and nastiness inside the boat from the bottom job where Darren left the hatch open, that we had a mud slick on the inside, and we walked through the inside, so we've walked on the top side, so it's really gross. So we'd rather just go ahead and do this, and if we have to clean up again, then we'll just clean up again. But we're really hoping that this storm decides to move one direction or the other. And of course it wouldn't be 2020 unless you had two storms coming at the same day in the general same area. I, for one, absolutely cannot wait until 2021. So maybe this year we'll just stop right there and not continue any further. I don't know how much more we can take.
Since I'm kind of haven't used the I haven't used the Dawn a whole lot, I'm gonna do a small section, kind of see how that does. So you guys get a good laugh if I fall in, because it's actually got quite slick up here now.
Hey, we promised y'all laughs.
Here they come. We
had some guys come out and give us an estimate on doing the cleaning and repairing the top of the deck. And they said that the slip grip was really still pretty good, which was a miracle because nothing else has been done to this boat in years and years and years. So we naturally figured that would definitely have to be replaced. But they said that it was actually a pretty good job.
There's a leak. Oh my God.
So that was one of the little favors that we had. There weren't many, but that was definitely one of them.
Can you tell the difference on that first? It needs some more scrubbing, but you can see it comes up a little bit there.
It looks a little better.
It'll take a little bit more.
Yeah, you can see where our footprints have been, but this is definitely looking. Let me go around.
Yeah,
this is definitely looking.
Definitely difference between there and up here.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
It'll probably take going over it a couple times.
We had planned on going out today, but the winds, due to the storms coming, the wind and the current and everything was really, really bad. And just about everybody at the marina, they're all here prepping their boats. One of the guys came and he cleaned out his boat yesterday. So we're pretty well doing the same. There's a few people over cleaning their boats behind us.
It gets really slick on there.
So not my strawberries off.
It's going to take a few times of going over to see where I've been. But if you ask me, that's a huge difference.
Yep, absolutely. I love the sound of wind through ropes.
Of what?
Wind through ropes.
Oh yeah.
I love the sound of that.
Ours would be making a lot of noise. I've got one of the halyards tied up here. When it gets to howling, of course, through here you can hear it. It's almost like a whistle almost.
Yeah, it's really
whistling through there. So a lot of us, we try to tie the halyards up front so it's not banging against the mast. It gets annoying to anybody that might be trying to sleep on the boat overnight.
I can still see where my feet have been. I can still see where my feet have been. I have to scrub that again.
It's going to take a couple times. I may try to let it kind of soak in there a little bit. I didn't get any up front earlier.
So one of our next orders of business is going to be, after we get some of this other deck work and inside work done, the plan is to pull the boat back out, and we're going to have the guys over at Pelican's Perch, we're going to have them go ahead and paint the sides of the boat. So we're debating on whether to go to white or go back blue. We've got the inside is going to be the main blue color, so I don't know, we're still trying to figure that out. The next thing we're going to work...
Did you show anybody your clever idea here?
Oh yeah, there's a story behind that.
Yeah, Kelly made us a really nice little hand-holding pool here. And but yeah, the story that goes beyond that. If you see the pylons here, they're all wood. This is the second marina that we're at, actually. The first marina we went to, we had to move out of that because mainly it was a lot of...
it was really open.
Really open on the bay. It had the ability for 3 miles across for wind to build up, and just we were right there exposed. We were on the outside of it. So anyway, long story short, the oldest son, Nick, when we were coming in one day to that marina, he was jumping off trying to get things tied off, and he hit one of the wood pieces of the pylon with his thumb. Okay, and he pulled it back and he was shaking his hand, and this will tell you a whole lot about Nick. He went about his business, went about doing it, got everything tied up. I still saw him, he's like, that really hurts. And I was like, what'd you do? He's like, I got a splinter in my thumb. So he finished tying up, got the boat tied up for me, and I said, let me see that splinter. Oh my God. It would about make you throw up. I'm talking about, you see your thumbnail, he had a splinter that literally, it wasn't a splinter, it was a wedge of wood that went up under his thumbnail.
It went all the way
yeah,
up.
It went all the way up under the
nail.
nail. So we took him to the emergency room, and for those of you that don't know anything about Nick, he does not like needles at all. But this day he got used to them just a little bit. But anyway, they got that taken out. He lost a good part of his nail, and that grew back. So that is what led to Kelly's wonderful invention here. Because we come up, this is the first point of contact a lot of times. I pull in, I'm able to get it turned pretty well, where we don't hit those outside pylons. But you gotta have a place to kind of grab onto to stop and make sure if we have any momentum that we don't hit up at the front. So that being said, Kelly made us a nice thing to wrap here. That way, no matter where we touch, you know, we can grab here and pull the boat to us. Nobody's gonna be going to the ER for thumbnail surgery anymore. So that's a little bit what that's all about. And we thank Kelly because that's a wonderful thing. She did that, what, 3 months ago?
Yep.
And she thought it was going to come unraveled, was all worried about it, but it's been great.
And we added our deck lighting here because our stairs.
Yeah, at night.
You can't really see
you can't
the
see.
stairs.
If you can see, we're kind of. They probably need to redo this sometime soon, but one side, one step off this side, one step off that side, and you're gone. And you got stairs to come through. So at night, this was just dark. We're going to add some tape along here. The dock master said that we're okay to do that, so we're going to add some reflective tape. But Kelly had a wonderful idea. We got some solar panel lights. This shines right down to here, and I don't know if you can see the other one over there by Kelly's strawberries. But that one actually shines over towards where Kelly had the tie up. So that when we come over here, if we're wanting to try to get on the boat at night, if we want to come out and have a Coke or some pizza or something and just sit out here, we can come out here any time of the night, and that keeps it lit up pretty well. Even though it's solar powered and it's holding that, we've so far not been out here any time that the light has ran out, I don't think, have we?
Nope.
No. So